Coming to our final speaker, in many ways we have saved our best for last. So I would encourage all of you to, unless you absolutely have to leave for a bio break, please stay. So bookending our array of interesting speakers today is what I would call a homegrown gem and a dear friend, Madan Hadaki. Madan is part of the Rotarian family. He was a Rotary actor in his early days. He's an engineer, a serial social entrepreneur. He's received several sustainable and scalable social enterprises that he's empowered. He believes in job creation rather than job seeking. To know Madan is to know about organizations such as the Head Held High, Ruben Bridge, Make India Capable, Global Action on Poverty, Million Jobs Mission. I can keep going on, Madan, but I'll be taking up your time. So he's a much sought after speaker. For an overachiever, you'll realize this very soon. His lack of hubris and just down, infectious charm are truly endearing. So take it away, Madan. And sorry to somebody had to go last year. No problem. Thank you so much.
Hi, good afternoon, and thank you, Ram, for a very nice introduction. I just want you to remember this number as we get into the talk. This number can either make or mar, and this number is what keeps me awake at night. And as Dr. Kalam said, dreams are not something that you do when the sleep of the night, but something that keeps you awake through the day and through the night. This number is what keeps me awake, dreaming of a better future. And I'll come back to this number shortly. Somebody said a quote about education, defined education in the most beautiful way that stayed with me for years. Education was defined as nothing but a motivated learner, an inspired teacher, and a tree. And the tree is a metaphor for all the technology, for all the blackboards, all the whiteboards, everything that we can use. But if that tree does not inspire the teacher or motivate the learner, we don't get the outcomes that we want. And that to me is the critical difference that we as educators need to think about. That's how do you create an environment where you can motivate the learner and inspire the teacher. And we've had several wonderful examples in the last few talks. I also believe, summarizing maybe in my mind as the shifts that we see in education, that there are 5 fundamental shifts that I believe is happening as they happen. 1, it's not about education, it's about learning. 2, it's not about learning, it's about skills. 3, it's just not about skills, it's about jobs. 4, it is just not about jobs, it's about job creation. And 5th, it's just not about job creation, it's about change making. And what I want to do over the next few 10 to 15 minutes is to give you some examples of my transformation that I've seen some of these examples play out. And I will ask the question, if it can happen in 1, why can't it happen in millions? Or how do we make it happen in millions? The first transformation that I saw came out about 10 years ago when I started, when we co-founded Head Held High Foundation. I was running this company called Meritrack. We were one of the first skills assessment centers in India. We had scaled by 2007. We had assessed millions of graduates and employability. My word view, some people were employable, some were not, and that's really the word is. There was such time that Tim, Suran Savara, and Rajesh came to me saying that, hey, we're planning something crazy. Will you be a part of it? I said, how crazy is it? He said, hey, we're planning to set up a rural BPO, and we want to take quite literally village youth to BPO jobs. I said, this is as crazy as you can, because I was assessing kids for BPO in Bangalore, and I said, the average strike rate is 8%. How will we ever run a BPO in a rural setting by using the company? Said, hey, what is this possible? What can we learn from this experiment? That's how this experiment of taking quite literally a zero-educated illiterate village youth with absolutely no schooling, and we said, can this guy be transformed into an English-speaking computer knowledge professional, and the results changed my life. I usually play this video often. I want to play it again. I'm sure many of you have seen some of these very briefly. This is Ramesh. Comes from a village called Potiguda in Raichur, about 60 kilometers from Raichur, back to the beyond. Never settled out in the village, never been to school, never had a personal life. 18 years of age or so, he says. There's no date of birth evidence. First day of training, the video is horrible because we never knew what we were getting into. Family of 10 lives on an unavailable 2 acres of land. The entire family puts together 3,000 rupees a month. Families put together. When Ramesh joined our program, all he's saying in this video is his brother's name, sister's name. He's not even looking at the Canada. 8 kids like Ramesh signed up for our experiment. We put them up in a house in Bangalore, hired a video trainer, saying, hey, how are they? You can take a year, 2 years, get them to work with the video. The trainer vanished during lunchtime. He says, are you out of your mind? I can't train kids and those here to be in the video world. How can I expect you to do these, to work on these kids? So now, my friends, all of them started living with these kids. 6-7 months, almost 18 hours a day. It was so immersive that in the night when these kids used to sleep, they used to see the radio on, so that the immersion was complete. And what happened at the end of 7 months? Not only transformed their lives, transformed mine, because I said how wrong we are in badging people as employees or unemployable. This is the same Ramesh chapter 7.
When I was in my village, I did not also like my name in my village. I always wrote Dhoti. I never traveled on the bus. I did not know what the time and what the was. I think only good is good from after that, came back home after that. I have never visited a city. I did not know about city life. When I first came to Bangalore, I could not speak to anyone. And I had to speak just a computer. When I started to learn English, I was so scared because I did not know how to write everything. After this 7 months, I can type minimum of 40 words per minute. A month ago, I went to my village for my brother's wedding. My mother told me, please come and have a seat. She did not recognize me. She asked for you. I told her, I am Ramesh, your son. As you visited. Then I told her, I told her on which I hear what was there. She looked at the photo for a while and asked. And after the event, she said, it's of happiness. I never can forget that experience. Thank you.
Not just Ramesh. 7 others will transform like this. We have now touched about 6,000 kids across the country. We run centers in 40 rural areas across 7 states, and every case I see transformation happen. Right? If you take Ramesh on a scale of 1 to 10 and 10, I easily see 7 happening almost everywhere, and a few of them escape to reach that 10. What is the magic behind this? And when I met Professor Yunus many years ago, he said something beautiful which struck to me. He said, a lot of us die without knowing what pleasure is like. And I resonate to what Professor Amartya said about poverty, that poverty is nothing but capability deprivation and opportunity deprivation. Right? I believe that everybody has immense unlimited potential. It is just that some get a capability platform to express it, schools, colleges, or whatever, attending a RILA, right? And some don't. How do we create that opportunity? And it's just not that this stops here. And I don't use the word training because training is a two-way street. You get trained, you forget it, you become something. It's transformation because of Ramesh after can never ever become Ramesh before again. It is a one-way street. 4 years later, and I want to show the transformation. This is 2007. 2011, we won the CNIB and Green Deals Award for this. Ramesh was on stage to receive it. You can see the same guy. 4 years later, receiving this award.
Ladies and gentlemen, 4 years ago, I never thought of getting out of my village. Today, I am on national TV. I'm very happy to be here with all of you. 4 years ago, I didn't know how to write my name in any language. Today, I'm working in a BPO company as a team leader. My dream is to get give an opportunity to all the villagers like me.
And when he talks about the dream, today he's living the dream. 5 years fast forwarded, he worked in a BPO, ran a team of 20. It was ironical that one of India's largest outsourcing companies, we were running HR exits, so it was ironical that when a graduate of Gurgaon quit this company in Delhi, the termination letter used to be sent by a zero to get a from home. Right? Ramesh today has gone back to his village. He's a motivational speaker, has addressed over 2,75,000 students across North America. I think becomes like this. Imagine your operation, right? So he's become the change maker that I envisage people to be. How does this happen? I believe everything, and one of the words, I think that's the most important word we heard references to us in the last hour, is aspiration. It has to stem from the heart. You can't superimpose education just because I think you have to get educated. You have to come from the heart to say who you want to be and how can we help you do that, right? And aspiration resides everywhere. In all the kids I've met, I've just done snippets, so I used to go around saying, hey, who do you want to be? Interesting video, this is 10
teacher, auditor, contractor, businessman.
These are all our trainees. You see the interesting one, auditor, right? About a 4th standard kid in Coco who said, I want to be an auditor. I asked him, so how did you know what to do? No, I don't know, I was sitting in a bus. I met a guy who was sitting next to me. I asked him, what do you do? He said, I ask questions to banks. So actually, he was going to audit a bank, started accountant. He said, that's interesting. All the banks ask me questions. I want to be somebody who asks questions to banks, right? And that's how he said, I want to be an auditor, right? So imagine that it doesn't matter who you are today, with the exposure, there is aspirations of being somebody in everybody's heart. I have never met a person who doesn't have an aspiration in their heart, right? How do we measure that? So each of our kids, when we come into our program, we say, you know what? You're here to lead your dreams. How can we help you capture your aspirations? That becomes the start point. What does that lead to? It leads to fun. How do we make learning? We make learning fun. There is no classroom, nobody sitting and teaching, letting you ABC. In fact, we don't believe in English in that sense. A lot of our kids tell us, oh, what will make you get confidence? If I speak English and if I type, if I know how to use the computer, I'm confident. So we'll say we'll teach you English without any grammar. It doesn't matter. Right? We just need you to communicate and be understood, and we need you to know what a computer is and say, I have an email ID. That's good enough, that unlocks your confidence. Right? So, just again, a video clipping from many years ago, just third day. Third day of training, kids who have never spoken English, most of them are 4th standard, 3rd standard dropouts, having fun learning English and learning how to have fun. Just to give you the idea, this is how classes are. You go in, sitting there in a learning asylum, singing, dancing, right? But that's the way they're learning from each other. How do you inject fun? How do you inject the fun of learning from one another? Third, how do you make them motivated to put in the efforts? In every batch, at any point of time, we'll have one guy willing to run away. He says, I'm tired, this is too much. But there are 4 others who say, listen, if you stay one more day, you make it. And they stay. After the first 10 days of our program, if we start a batch of 30, about 10 to 12% or 3 to 4 people leave in the first 4 days, in the first 10 days, and after that, we rarely have any dropouts. Right? So that's the fun element that we need to get to. So if you can just advance to the next one. Right? And how do you put those efforts in? Right? So we'll skip the video in the interest of time, but we hear kids saying, I will work 18 hours a day. So I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, my day ends at 12:30, and it happens 6 months on the clock. And there's nobody saying, oh, what time did you get up, or what time you attended? No, it happens on and on. Even the non-residential programs, we have kids who go back home, who are texting us at 9:30, 10 in the night saying, I want to understand the meaning of this. You asked me to do this assignment, I don't know what to do. They're calling. That's the effort that is required, because one of the things we embed is nothing is going to happen if you don't move. But if you move, the world will move you. And that's a critical lesson again in our learning process. I believe that the outcome of education, outcome of learning, is to lead a life with your head held high. So when we measure ourselves on placement rates, etc., that's not interesting for me. I come back and say, how many kids come out of the program with a head held high? I just want to play a small video about this kid, Vishwanath. When I asked him, so what has made a difference in their life? I think that's the key. You can just play that.
Before I went to every I'm not clean. I wear a nice pants and a t-shirt. But now I wear a formal dress all day. And one time before I went to every day, but I went to t-shirt. The shopkeeper said, what is command say? There is what I say is to take. That's it, I'm very famous. When I completed my training, then I went to one more again, I said shop. The shopkeeper said, come to the what do you want? Take the water. It's very good. He spoke with me clear. That I am very happy. I completed my
that respect, that confidence to say, I can now deal with the world in my own terms, and I know how to command that dignity, to me is the most important part of any education process. We can just move to the next one, please. I'll come back to the 120 million jobs that we need job creators. We don't need people who stand in a queue waiting for a job to appear. We have several examples of kids who have gone back to the villages to set up grocery stores, to be on their own. In one village, we have now enabled about 600 youth across villages to do assisted commerce, various activities in the villages where they start donating stuff to their communities. And I believe that if you can create 10 to 15 million entrepreneurs in the villages, mass entrepreneurs, who can then create 5 to 10 jobs each, we have solved 120 million issue for youth entering the workforce. And from there, you use the launch pad to get them to become change makers. How do you solve local challenges? By having people take responsibility. Almost, I envision a Rotary club in every village. How do we have a group of entrepreneurs who are seized with the issue of saying, let me solve local problems in a way that I can do good, feel good, and make good money? And I believe there's an intersection that resides there. And this intersection, we're calling it as ruronomics. We're saying that if you add talent, entrepreneurial spirit, aspirations, and technology, the rural that we emphasize is no longer rural. It's a new rural that we call as rurals. And we are pursuing a model of ruronomics where we believe that if we bring these elements together to play on the ground, by bringing these aspects together, you can change the face of India. Right? So these are the various initiatives that I do. We have Henry Foundation where we transform people. We have Entrepreneur Awakening through an initiative called Entrepreneurial, clear the word entrepreneur. GAP, which is about enabling change makers, and OneBridge, which is about creating opportunity platforms for entrepreneurs on the ground to eradicate poverty. I believe that conversations like this will make the beautiful poem written by our national poet guru, Rabindranath Tagore, come true, where the mind is without fear, the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the word is not broken into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out in the depths of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way in the very desert side of the habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that hand of creating our Father, that I am creating. Right.
I did promise a variety of speakers and thought processes. We've come to the segment where we're going to ask all 5 of them to kindly come up to the stage and to moderate a brief discussion, answer some of your questions. What we'd like to do is introduce a fellow Rotarian, a fellow senior Rotarian of mine from this very district, Satish Madhavan. He's the District Club Service Director this year. Satish will be moderating the panel, and you'll find that he's a warm and gregarious person. He obviously paid me to say that. Nice words about him. His work has entailed extensive travel, right, Satish? I could keep on. But he's basically in the fashion business and in the export of garments, merchandising. He's also, in addition to that, he's a frequent speaker at fashion institutes around the world. Now, that's very interesting. And he offered to moderate this panel, so I'm delighted. And I'm also happy that I'm almost coming to the end of my term here. I'm part of the mic, so I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I have the mic?
Sure. Get you.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. After these wonderful speakers, I don't think we should have more energy, right? Yeah. So let's give the speakers a big round of applause. Personally, I think this has been one of the best sessions that I've had, where I could listen to 5 great speakers, understand supporting education from different perspectives, but all leading to the same goal. I would like to invite speakers back on stage so that there are a lot of questions from the audience, and you can throw some light on their questions. Martin, there, come. Okay. Right, friends, so this is just going to be a early session, so maybe we may not be able to take all your questions. We'll try to cover as much as possible. And I'm just going to read out. Okay, we'll start with our PRID secretary. This is to you. As part of the Rotary mission, what is being done to make our schools more inclusive and the children with learning disability and other disorders also allowed to go to school as well?
So we are aware of this and we are working towards that. The teacher training program, there are some volunteers from Rotary family itself who are volunteering to train on how to deal with such children. They are trying to train the teachers on how to deal with them. At the same time, when we are ensuring to make those schools happy schools, we are ensuring that every aspect for let's say a challenged child is being taken care of. So these are the 2 aspects. One is sensitizing the teacher, and the other is creating the infrastructure for such children. The rest, the right to education does say that it has to be inclusive education.
Thank you, Secretary. And let's move on to Professor Bose. Question is for you from Siddhartha. How can digital leaders like us foster and facilitate the digital nature of students? Foster, it should be foster.
He's section and I think. So, I don't know the answer to that question, but I think the most important thing is to really have an open mindset. And, I just said something else to connect to that because, I wanted to take this point, I didn't really make it because I was under pressure for time. See, we tend to kind of think in very traditional terms. For instance, all of learning is black and white and textbooks and so on. But all the media that we consume, everything that we consume is immediately, right? So, young child will phone and click pictures and videos and so on. So they're naturally there. I think for me the biggest learning is for my kids. I just look at them. They tell me what to do. They are far more aware of me. So the point I'm trying to make is it's a willingness to learn, openness, willingness to experiment. And I think occasionally willingness to say that this didn't work and then let me try something else. So a lack of fear about things like that. I don't know whether that answers the question.
Right, okay, so when they get visible makers, I think everybody is in the business world today. Not everybody is probably learning what to learn. So I think there's an outside to this entire narrative that is happening. That's a different topic altogether.
So may I just add one quick comment? I think that might also be made because most often digital initiatives fail because they're seen as an add-on. You take a card and fix the rocket to it. How is it working? No. And that is really the problem. So I think you have to look at it, technology is blended and adapt it. And there is a possibility of success.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. This question is for Shilpa. This is from Shilpa Fisher. Can the government school have some movies shown to them, like the one on the government schools?
Yes, so when we originally started off the school cinema program, the idea was for it to, I didn't know what to be successful, and that it would work. I have worked with government schools in the past, and what I've realized is that if you want to introduce any program to the government, you better make it successful in the private schools and then the government schools. I think today we are now very well positioned and we're working on two levels. On one hand, going down and meeting up with a couple of governments across the country to see if we can translate these films into the local languages. The medium is very relevant, but most of our films are made for middle class children. Right? So, for example, the challenges of middle class children that need to live up to the expectations of the parents and trying to get this 99% mark. Whereas a lot of children in the rural part of the country have a problem where they're not even encouraged to go to school. So you can't show the same film. The medium is relevant. Some issues are universal. We need to adapt it for the government. In fact, we are also in talks with Saudi Arabia. We've all been hearing about Saudi Arabia opening up its entertainment courses and we are trying to make it to see if we can create Arabic content for the Arab world because the medium and the format is very good.
Thank you.
So one of the plus things of my coming here was to listen to these speakers. And Sultan, like you said, you wanted to speak to me. Equally, I want to speak to you. We now will have access to 150,000 schools where there is going to be digital format of learning. Perfect medium for you to show your films wherever you would like. Absolutely. I think that's fantastic.
How do you ensure learners become autonomous learners?
Great question. Yes. There's lots of things to do. It's about being really overt with learner training. So we include small bursts of learner training. So in English language speaking learning, then it might be anything from really understanding how to use a dictionary and get the most out of the dictionary in order to, for pronunciation or whatever, or it could be about managing your study time. It could be about how to judge critically how good a website is for learning and the learning content. So all of these things you have to be very overt and you have to give really practical examples to get people to learn how to learn and how to learn well. And we get our students to reflect on it as well. We get them to tell us what strategies work. Yeah, I mean, part of what we do is getting people to go away and try things. It's not a one-size-fits-all, that's why we all learn differently. And there are different things that work for us. So we get them to go away and try some things and come back and say, okay, this worked for me. Or I've been doing the course and I've discovered actually that this is working for me as a strategy. And we get them to also reflect on, at the end of the course, what's next for them. Where are they going to go? What's their individual learning plan? What have they learned? And where are they going to go and find that information? It's important to structure it around the individual and to be very overt about it.
Thank you. Secondly, there is another question to you, Siddhartha Vivek. What are the challenges faced while collecting feedback about teachers from the students? That's a nation builder.
Yeah. It's not really difficult. The children, so we tell the volunteers, don't ask the questions in front of the teachers. Just befriend the student and the student will normally be happy to answer. The questions are very simply asked. So the language, if you, I think the questionnaire is on the website, rotaryteach.org, if you go there in the teacher support section. The questions asked are so simple that the child would give a very natural answer. So it's, there is no inhibition for the child to give the answer, so we don't really find difficulty in getting the questions.
Yeah, and we're very free to talk always. Yeah, people like to talk, as long as they can.
Yeah, it's about, giving an opinion about their own teachers, which our schools are not used to. Probably that is what the question is like.
So they don't give an opinion about the teacher. So let's say there are 5 teachers. You ask them, does this teacher do this for you or not? So they say yes or no. I mean, does the teacher help you after school hours if you need? So they'll say yes or no. So you get the answer. And you can understand what the teacher, how proactive the teacher is in this aspect of that.
Yeah, I can totally relate to this because we've done this ourselves in our class. So every time we go to school, it's not very difficult. It's quite easy and we've identified some great teachers in the process. Right. And Professor Jose, on the front, the good infrastructure, technology, what is one aspect of the lecturer takes interest in the subject he or she is teaching?
Okay, I think it's not infrastructure, or I think it's just passion that is personal to teach. You must love the subject that you teach. Otherwise, no matter what props you have, you cannot teach. Then you will not be effective. And in a class, people sense it very, very quickly. So that is the first thing, and you must be passionate. I think technology is just a kind of, some kind of help, because in the digital medium, of course, people sometimes do really fancy work, really expensive equipment and so on. But some of the most popular videos, the Khan Academy videos that I showed you, are just done very simply. So it is not the fact, it is the passion that I think will impress.
Thank you, Professor. The next question is to Madan. How many girls take part in the training on the rural segment which we're talking about? I think.
Well, it's been an interesting journey. Typically, we have about 25%. So in a batch of 20, 24, we have about 6-7 girls in the classroom. In many of the rural areas, we're the first entity that does a co-ed class. And it's fascinating to watch what the boys learn from the girls and girls learn from the boys. There's a lot more appreciation of each other. In some cases, we've attempted to do a girls-only batch. In Gulbarga, we've actually done 3 girls-only batches. Our target is to get over 50 thing. It's very hard because we convince parents to send their girls for residential programs is difficult. So in some cases, we actually move them from non-residential. But we're doing a very interesting experiment on the entrepreneur side. Out of those 650 entrepreneurs that we have across 1,000 villages in Karnataka, we have 300 women and 350 men. But we are attempting a model where every village will have 1 male and 1 female entrepreneur, because we believe that it is that combination that will unlock abundance of the village, not one alone. And we are trying to figure out how do you team them up in such a way that you are able to talk to everybody in the village. And that's our stated goal, to get to a 50-50 goal as far as entrepreneurs in rural are concerned.
How many girls do better than boys in most areas?
we see that in every batch. We see that in every batch. All the girls, we see that in the education entrepreneurs as well. Our daily active, we manage daily, we look at daily activity levels. The women, our daily activity levels are between 95 to 97%. The men are around 70%. So we see that everywhere.
You know, I have an interesting point to make in that. It's a big debate in a lot of West European and very advanced countries, where I think the debate is around, if given an equal opportunity, our education system, the way it's designed, is going to, it favors the parents, right? It favors women. So internationally, for keeping the next couple of decades in mind, the MIT has a program called SOLVE, which is problems of the future. One of the issues that's being deliberated is how do we tweak our education system for the future so that when women start or the girls start getting equal opportunities, they will start getting the lion's share of the benefits of the education. So how do we? The future is going to be how are we going to take care of our boys?
So on that, we have a share. This was actually a few years ago. I had a CEO, a friend of mine who was a CEO of a large company, attend to come to one of our centers in Tukur. And he was interacting with the class, and he asked one of the girls, so what do you want to be? So she looked at him and said, I want to be the CEO. I want to be a CEO. So this guy made the mistake of asking which company. She looked straight at him and said, why not your company? And he was shocked. The first time anybody challenging me for my job right in front of me. I never heard it even in the US. That's the confidence that's so beautiful to see.
Thank you. Secondly, this is looking to you. This is a program where we are looking at a paper curriculum, especially around moral science and civic sense. Please learn how to be good citizens.
So, I'm so happy somebody asked this question to me. I always, to my own children, I never said, get grades. You don't have to be the first 5 in the class. It's a different thing. We did that. Maybe because of that, I never expected. I didn't want to tell that to them. But my only thing to them was become better human beings. I think we stopped moral science classes up to class 5. I think what needs to be taught, and I would not say anywhere in the world, is right up to any age actually. And what you said, we need to have people who learn to live life and behave well. You have to be better citizens of the country. And we are very interested in getting these modules into the videos that the content that we are going to give. We are going to, for example, today I find we get you so much content from them. Now we would want somebody who is developing content on such issues, translating them into different languages, will be able to get that done. That's not a problem. So if we get ready content available, it will be the best thing that we can do. I am so interested that this becomes a very important part of the curriculum. It's so very, very important.
I'm very happy to share with you, as part of the chief executive of the HRD ministry. The NCRT has brought down the curriculum by 50%, and that's the talk that's going on. So what are they going to do for the 50%, which was the citizenship are all about? 5 areas will be of focus for Indian schools going forward. It's going to be value education, life skills education, experiential learning, it's digital technology, and I think there's one for the 5 sport. So there will be 5 areas that's where children are going to be spending a lot more time. On paper, it sounds outstanding. Like yoga was introduced in Indian schools, I hope it doesn't go down the same way. But on paper, I think it's fantastic.
No, but we've got sports introduced well. The sports program has taken out well, and I'm sure that's going to stay because the children are going to love that.
Yeah.
In any case.
This is the case of something. Flexibility in learning, make it interesting, enjoy what you learn, putting the learning into effective use for improvement, tips for improvement.
Okay, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I really don't understand the question, but I think you something here. Yeah. Do you want to ask yourself? Was it a suggestion?
I agree.
That's what we're all working towards now. Thank you. Anyway, so I think that pass. Again, what is I think you're very popular. Home ground.
He's got the professor tag, so they know
I'm really one of the education has become more of a commercial rather than activity rather than knowledge. Teachers need to upgrade and keep up with the changes in curriculum. What needs to be done to change this?
I think the answer came, I think, in your presentation itself. You said that we must respect teachers. I think, and this is not just a research statement. Respect also manifests in multiple ways. In the way not just compensation, I'm not referring to compensation, no. That's the point that I've been making. You can look at the way they recruit teachers. The fact, it's a fact that if you can make it a good BPO, then you will not become a teacher. So, because I interact with a lot of schools and I see that, people who could not make it in BPO have actually made it as teachers. Now, this is so much in contrast with, if you consider Finland, which is one of the best education systems, they tell you that it's easier becoming a surgeon than becoming a teacher. There's several stages to you, which you go through, you've got to be qualified. It's not just Finland, Israel. It's exactly the same system. You have to go continuously, be kind of trained in region. I was just sitting in a meeting just a couple of days ago. There was someone from Israel who actually pointed out that in the context of MOOCs, they were saying teachers are expected to do MOOCs. That's the way of reaching out and training them. Once only they know that they implement it comes into is given. So we have kind of made teaching a side profession, and in a way very crucial to the side kind of profession. And therefore, we have a problem. And I think the other part also, we put so much emphasis on, brands and so on. And so on the other hand, this unfortunately has to be a business. So my wife is a teacher, and therefore I feel very strongly about that. But I've heard of students standing up in class and telling a teacher like this is salary, and this is not so uncommon in banking, right? And I can remember the time when I was a kid at school. If you got kind of slap in school, you never mentioned that at school because you got one more. But today, you would have parents who would come and say, I'm not for physical punishment, but they would ask you, why are you kind of correcting my child? So this is a serious issue. So I think, the main problem is we need to really educate them. I think that's really the problem. Because parents are not educated. But the flip side of what you said also I experienced. For me, in my house, the problem is not that, my children live up to my expectations and the class. I have to live up to their expectations. And that is also the challenge. That aside, I think we have to raise the profile of teaching in this country. We have to get the best people to teach. We have to compensate them. We have to respect them. And we should not turn education into a business enterprise. But please, I'm not saying that education should be run as charity. I said even charity needs to be world class. World class needs to be, financially viable. So I'm not anywhere suggesting that you kind of bring down the standards or bring down the cost or don't compensate or don't allow private enterprises to enter education. All I'm saying is quality needs to be controlled, monitored, and we need to work around the system. Our system is really, really badly broken, whether we like it or not. And that's what we have to do.
Can I actually want to add something onto hearing something that hasn't been mentioned necessarily is teachers' CPD. And it's about school leadership recognizing the importance of CPD for teachers. It's about the prominence that it's given. It's about the quality of CPD. So I talk to a lot of teachers in government schools who really want to learn and are really passionate, but they're not being given the right sort of learning and they're not being given the right support to carry on that learning. It's not just go up and do a move, it's how you build that in to their roles and their jobs. You don't expect them to go up on Saturdays and Sundays and spend their free time doing it. But I think CPD is also really important area.
Just a quick also follow up to that. Sometimes we assume that in school education is really bad. But the fact of the matter is, if you look at higher education, also equally badly managed. It's worse. Take MBA school. There are 4,000 MBA schools in this country. Most are run by part-time faculty, by part-time. Everything is part-time. Everything is on high, and so on, except the students. And that's the model that a lot of higher education institutions work. It's equally distributed in there. So,
and one quick question from Anantha. How soon can we see foreign universities in Malaysia, Stanford, Oxford? What are the trends of this direction?
So the quick short answer to that is they're already here. And they are actually offering courses. Particularly in the MOOC space, you find that, just to give one simple example, MIT has a course in supply chain management, and they're $60,000 1 year at MIT. You can do half of that course for $1,000 and then apply to MIT, and you can get admission there directly. But
what he meant is that universities like Stanford and Oxford, the same standard.
That's the same course. In fact, Georgetown University, Masters in Computer Science, $10,000, exactly the same certificate, the same alumni status, the same privileges. So, the point is that we kind of barricaded ourselves. We put boundaries, political boundaries around education institutions. Now, technology has broken it down. And so, you have students who are doing this course across the world. And these universities are very happy to attract them. So the simple point is that I think this idea that, that's the point that I was mentioning, location-constrained education, that to get good education you have to be here, is no longer valid. And so therefore the question, when will you see foreign universities entering India? I think it's a moot question. They're already here, virtually or otherwise, they're offering the same degrees. Now the only difference that you might see, the flipping point would be when corporates will also begin to recognize that. And that's already happening. In fact, one last point I would make. In fact, if you look at it, you find the traditional idea of the degree education systems have gone away. People are talking about nano degrees, micro degrees, and so on. They're basically saying develop a skill set. Your degree is not what you're looking at. Employability is
Okay, so the last question, we are short on time, and this is for we started. Okay, so some light on RTE how would we assist this program and how effective it is.
So do two things. First is read about the article itself. If you want to just go to the bullet points, go to the website. The Rotary website gives the bullet points that are from the RTE. You may not want to read the entire app, so you can do that. And second is register as a volunteer on the Rotary website. What you can do, you can only do when you go to the school. Sitting at home, it's not really possible to help out those students. You want to be a teacher at the Aspiration centers, please come. You are a dance teacher, go teach these children how to dance, how to paint, how to speak well. You could go to the nearby government school, discuss it with the education officer here, and your special skills, they can be used not as paid volunteers, unpaid volunteers on special skills. You may be an excellent math teacher if you can speak to the government department here and they agree to it. They will if you go and make a proper presentation. They will agree you will be able to go and do that. If you are an expert at how to stimulate people about challenge children for inclusive education, please volunteer yourself for everything. If you want to be a part of it, you have to volunteer.
Okay, so we are totally out of time.
Just a minute. And I think especially about what David said, here is something that I just want to lead the thought here. I think it goes back to what Albert Einstein said famously, that I never let my college interfere with my education. I think a lot of learning, when it happens in classrooms and with teachers, a lot of it happens outside the classrooms. Right? How can each of us, especially as parents, play a role in nurturing a child through the exploratory journeys? Right? What is it that when, for example, my most transformative moment was I happened to be sitting in 96 next to Dr. Rajaramana, and he just turned around and said, "What are you doing?" I blabbered something. He said, "Come to my office for," and that 1 hour I spent changed my life. With it, he did not have need not have to have done that, but that 1 hour that I spent with him changed my perspective on learning and stuff like that. So I think there's a tremendous opportunity as a Rotary network where each of us, if you were to be oriented towards how do you develop a young adult, how do you develop a kid into a young adult who can become a change maker. It's not about math science, it's about being a better human being. There's a huge opportunity for each of us.
10 seconds, because that's the quote. I always thought Emerson was said, education is not killing a pig, but it's lighting a fire. And I think light a fire, anybody can do that. And then if all of us light a fire, it will fire.
Wonderful, first and first question. I have a lot of questions with me, which job questions. Everybody is going to be around till about 6:30 or 7. We're going to have IT later, and you can approach the speaker whom you want to ask a question. Please ask them the question, and they will be able to answer. And in the meantime, we'd like to close this session so that the next session can continue. Thank you, Secretary. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, Secretary.
Thank you, everyone. I request the speakers and the moderators to stay on stage.
We have a
We have a very interesting panel discussion coming up where we have eminent panelists from flown across from the country to be here, and I request all of you to stay to your feet and see that this session is leading with more questions. And that's the whole idea behind this program. And while our President, Rotary IIMBAA, is very momentous to our wonderful moderator, Rotary Satish Madhavan, as well as to all our speakers, I'm going to start introducing our list of panelists, starting with the moderator, the most important person on the stage this evening. Our moderator for this evening is Mr. Partha S., a 1994 alum of IIMBAA, home crowd again. Partha is currently the head of alumni relations. He worked for the ICC for 2 years before turning an entrepreneur. He ran a manpower recruitment firm for more than a decade, developed a jobs portal, pioneered a web-based complex management solution, developed accounting and account management software for micro enterprises. His first book, Untitled Chapter, Entrepreneurial. Why Entrepreneurs Do What They Do, was published in 2018. It's on sale, so that we can pick it out on the way out to the next. And as I maybe we'll just wait a minute. To introduce our first panelist for this evening, Mr. Sanjay, again, another alumni of IIMBAA and Discalani. Sanjay is the director of PR Security Company. I request the moderator and the panelists to please come up on stage as I introduce them. In transition to the social sector, which via the Mahavir Foundation Trust of Vadodara, the foundation advances the education of private people in the economically weaker sections. We are sure that Asha B, president of the program, will come up in this discussion. Our second panelist for the evening is Ms. Nalini Sengupta, an engineer from the iconic, a B.Ed from the iconic Rotary College in Calcutta. Nalini's passion for education spans over 3 decades. She is the founder of the Vidya Valley School in Pune. She is here with Mr. Vivek Gupta, an alum of IIMBAA. Now you see
how this event is doing, and also from Vidyalaya School. The school has several unique approaches to education, including stakeholder training and involvement. These address the needs of especially able children as well. Our third analyst is Dr. Sanjeev Ranganathan, an IIT Chennai alumni with a doctorate degree from Columbia University. Dr. Sanjeev Ranganathan is a quintessential engineer and passion for education was stoked by his work with Asha for Education in the United States. He founded STEM-Band, a welcoming place for children and adults with a focus on self-directed learning. And last and youngest panelist at the board is Ms. Shukla from Sesame Seed, which is anonymous worldwide, with R being for having parents of little ones. I know, I was one. Richa has led content for Sesame Workshop India for the past 6 years. A postgraduate in journalism and media, she studied at the Harvard Graduate School of Education. Her presentation is focused on innovative methods to improve quality of early education and access. Thank you.
Thank you, Shiva. Yeah.
Thank you, Shiva, for the wonderful introduction. We have had a wonderful session until now. We had a lot of learnings and insights from the wonderful speakers that we had before us. At the outset, let me welcome all the panelists to IIM Bangalore. Some of them have been to this campus before, and welcome Sanjay, homecoming. What we will do in this panel discussion is the topic for the discussion is innovation and methods and practices in K-12 education, and narrating their own experiences and sharing their perspectives. We have an eclectic set of people out here who have wonderful experience in their own spaces. We'd like to start off the discussion by each one of you could share your experience in terms with respect to innovation in your own spaces, in your own circumstances, whatever you're doing. So maybe we can kickstart with that, and then we could expand on that, on those ideas. Someone would you like to start? Yeah, sure.
Good evening to all. I'm surprised to be here actually. I come from a small place called Sush in Pune and run a school called Vidyalaya. So I have a little video, just 2 minutes, to give you an idea of the school. And before it starts, it's a pleasure and a privilege to be in such a prestigious and beautiful campus. Thank you very much. Thank you. Today we heard a lot of words about school. Happy school, as Shekhar said, quality schools by Director of IIMBAA, teacher training, globalization, inclusion, technology, NIOS, and student feedback. When I sat there hearing all these things, I thought with pride about Vidya Valley. Little did I think that we would reach this 18 years ago when I started the school in a little bungalow outside where I lived with 30 children and 3 teachers. I left the school that I was teaching in for freedom. Having been through all the schools, I felt that I needed freedom for the children. Not children sitting in classrooms, only studying. I think it's a fallacy that we believe that learning happens well if we go about it glumly. Children need to be happy to be able to learn. I think we can do anything with them if they enjoy coming to school and are happy. They need to play, they need to sing, they need to dance. So I tried in the first 2 years, aspired to make a place where children will be happy coming, where the parents will be happy sending their children. Found teachers that would willingly believe that the school is not only to teach children for a 10th standard examination or for grades. It is to teach, as we heard, life skills. It is to learn from the heart. They need to want to learn. So with these things in place, we decided games. At the junior levels, we have almost 50% of the time out of doors, 50% in the classroom. As they grow up, I know the 10th standard demands a lot of study from us, so we try to curb a little bit the outdoor time, but children have sports days. PE is a part of the daily schedule curriculum of the children. Music, singing, right from, we have 4 years old to 16 years old, from junior KG to 10th standard, and singing, dancing, sports is all a part of this curriculum. The children, I think the happiest day that they have is a sports day in school. There are houses, 4 houses, vie with each other for we call it the top cat trophy. And it's amazing to see the children, achieving excellence because they have a goal to achieve. It's not because we are pushing them. Again, we have children, inclusive children. We have children this year a blind child who appeared for a 10th standard. We take in children who are autistic and we have them in the same classroom, and the children help each other with their studies. We have children going for, in fact this year we had 11 children in the national sports level, and the children need to be out of class. So we make a buddy system we have for them where they share with each other. When the child goes out of class, comes back, the buddy helps them to catch up with what they have missed. Teachers, teacher training, I think it's so important. And at Vidya Valley, we make sure that we give them the opportunities, not only with in-house training, but giving them the opportunities to apply for courses even outside. So a number of teachers have applied for workshops in Vienna, for the NASA Space Foundation. And teachers, sometimes we feel that teachers only need to be in a class to work. They do have aspirations, and it's important that we recognize them. They do have families, and so we have to make school life comfortable for them. In fact, we feed all our children breakfast and lunch, because that was what we started with. Today, many parents, both mother and father, work, and it's difficult for them to send 2 dabbas to school. So we started with a promise that we would give simple food to the children, breakfast and a hot lunch. And and that we would feed the teachers as well. We bus all the 1,200 children that we have in school because we want them to be environmentally friendly. It happens sometimes that there is one child traveling in one car to the school, so all the teachers and the children travel to school in buses. We pick them up, drop them, the teachers as well. We have an NIOS team in the school so that children who aspire to go into sports, want to do art, want to do music, do not have to spend so much time studying. It's an ICSE board school. They need to study to finish the 10th standard. NIOS is a wonderful system. It gives them the freedom to appear for exams at their pace. So this makes it comfortable for parents as well as teachers. It is so. At Vidya Valley, I think children are happy, teachers are happy. And when we speak of quality, we are using technology as well as outside trainers to come and help them. So that in a nutshell is Vidya Valley. The campus itself is a green campus. We use solar panels, so children learn. The office is run on solar energy. Our computer rooms use solar energy. Our pumping systems use solar energy. Since we feed the children, we use the food waste for vermiculture, and even the sewage water is used to water the plants in the school. I think this is all, it's good for us as a school, but I think it's better for children to learn, to actually live in the reality and learn what they can do as they grow up. So as a school, we want them to learn what they want to do when they step out of school, not what they have to do for 99.9% marks at the 10th standard level. Study, one has to do all the time. But the other things, values, respect, life skills are something that we can teach only in school level. I think these are the crucial going up years. Once they finish the 10th standard, there is a sort of rat race for the 12th standard, for professional colleges. This is the time when they listen also. They absorb. As they grow up, 17, 18, they know everything. It's very difficult to grasp on anything after that. So teacher training again is really important. One more thing, parents. We need to get in parents as our friends if we want to complete the process of educating the child. Yes. So thank you very much.
One thing that you mentioned is that you have a very active trekking club, and she's a mountaineer herself. Thank you so much. Sanjay, would you like to share some thoughts?
Good evening, everyone. We had a wonderful session, wonderful speakers, and Partha, it's very nostalgic to be back in the institute. And let me tell you something. Raghu and Vivek will support me. We never said institute IIM Bangalore. I am 85, 87. We always said that this is IIM Vivek, because there was nothing here. It was only village. We never said it is IIM Bangalore, it was IIM Vivek, that village. But now it is converted into a wonderful institution, wonderful program and everything. I am from Vadodara, and Mahavir Foundation Trust is our organization we are working. When I was listening to all of you here, one thing was going in my mind: how can we use this technology, whatever we are speaking, all these facilities, to the bottom of the pyramid? And what I mean from the bottom of the pyramid, where we are serving, is we are catering to those children whose mothers are still using grass and mud and not sanitary napkins because they cannot afford. Second thing, where it is not in any rural area. It is right there in my city, Vadodara. And it is not far away. It is right there behind my house, where we started this experiment. It is there till today. So that is the situation we are in. I say I am living in 21st century, but the person living next is in 19th century. We do not have water, we do not have electricity, we do not have these basic facilities. Their children are all the time on the roads. So this is one of the projects. I am not saying not to become pessimistic, but this is a challenge, this is an opportunity for us. That is where we are. So this is the program of Marine Foundation Trust. We call Aspiration. This is one of the focus areas of Marine Foundation Trust. And second area of focus is needy and bright students from weaker section of the society. We are working with them since last 15 years. Aspiration, when we started this project 4 years ago, how we have started, we just located one situation where 30 such kids were there. We took them to the nearby school and gave them all the facilities, whatever required, uniform, nashta, everything. And just after 7 and 10 days, there are only 7 kids coming to school. Only 7. We said, what happened to us? Is there something wrong with us? When we realized what is the reason here, the main reason was that 10-year-old girl has to take care of one of the siblings who is their student. If she goes to the school, then one of the parents has to stay there and they will not be able to take care of their food. They are on the street, they are on the footpath. That was the thing. When we say, what is the solution of that? The solution is, that is the innovation we say, take the school to their doorstep. Since then, we have started and we have 17 such centers running in Baroda, catering to 600 students daily. And that is, we have a daily 2.5-hour class on the street. It is something like Aspiration, and we are working with Rotarians there also. They are coming to our centers at Aspiration in Baroda also. Shreyans Mehta, we are ex-president of Rotary IIMBAA. So we are working with them, but the fact is, our aim is not to take them only on the street. We have some 5 important principles. And first principle is house visit. Before we select any teacher, we do the house visit, otherwise we will not select. Whether they are strong children, whether they are the student from the upper section, those sections who are medium bright. Second, once we take them, continuity will remain till they want to study. We are associated with them. That is the second thing. We will never leave them. They can leave us if they want, because few people will leave the place, but we will never leave. We are always there. Third, our administrative expenses are 0. And fourth, whenever these beneficiaries are coming, we feel that there shall not be any compromise in their risk. That is always to be taken care of. These are 4 or 5 principles which we adhere to. Anything we do it. What has happened in Aspiration? Let me just take up the Aspiration factor. We were going ahead with this, and then all these teachers came to us and said, there are 4 or 5 students who are very good in each of the centers. So we should do something more. And then from there we started a program called Aspiration Winter Sponsor Program, where we have taken tests of these 600 students and selected 75 students and giving them intensive coaching in a school, and the school premises are free, given by the school zone. Now, the aim is to take these students from the street to the regular school. Otherwise, these students would never have seen the school curriculum, never have gone to any school. So, at present, we have already admitted 250 such students into regular school, giving coaching to 100 such students at our center, and running 600 students in Rotary. Total, we have 5,000 students with us in different streams. So our main thought, main focus are on the 2 areas. One is the Aspiration, where we are taking these students from footpath to the school, and second is needy and bright students from underprivileged section of the society. Now, what is that? This is something very interesting again. When we visit each and every house, then we realize what what is the condition. Why this house visit is highly open for us, that is something. In 10 by 10 house, there are 5 people living, and there is a girl who is getting 95%. How it is possible? How it is happening? And what is the kind of motivation they have? They inspire us. So we are running this open scholarship scheme for all these students, medium rank. So what is happening, what problem we are facing, and what we are thinking about, what solutions you have given. I think all of the Madan has given wonderful solution. I am looking for that kind of English that is becoming a problem for us. See, these students are coming from a very poor background, all of them. Our criteria is their family income should be less than 1.5 lakh rupees per annum. That is our criteria of selection. And from there we are selecting these students. Now, those who are good, they still need coaching to do well, and they do not have money. Even if they do good, they score good marks. What will happen? Personality development is a greater issue, very great issue. How to present themselves, presentation, interview, all are a very great hurdle, which we are realizing since 15 years. How it is happening when they go for interview? Sir, I have clear technical, but HR, I am stuck. What to know? This I am talking about purely bright students. What about the rest who are in the school? What we feel is that the weaker section of the society, the students from that section, are getting the poorest educational input. In our present circumstances, whatever we are doing, they push the poorest. They cannot afford. And the biggest problem we are facing is vernacular to English. Till 10th or 12th, they have to study in vernacular language, and suddenly it gets converted into college into English, and then they say, now I can't do anything. First 3 months, 4 months, they will not understand any lecture, what to do. Third, their parents are either not very well educated, or they are illiterate. They do not know about what is the future course of action for their works. And fourth, the locality they are living in are so poor that these students have no conducive atmosphere and environment for students. So we are realizing how can we provide that? What can be done for this? And when we are talking about the K-12, it encompasses whole K-12 right from Ashadi to median right. We are taking them to the colleges, all we are supporting, but since we are talking about K-12, we feel that the best part we can do, because this forms the largest subset of K-12. And if we leave this, what we are talking all about, that is for middle income. Can we go down to this section and support them? And if we do not, then what will happen is something very disastrous, we feel. Because if we are not providing good quality education to this section of our population, to these students, I don't think we can go ahead and say that as a country we are progressing. So what we feel, we need to provide a good quality education at an affordable price to this segment which forms the largest. And for that, we have certain solutions. We are trying. The next solution was another scheme of ours as Kayakalp. Kayakalp, we took out some 125 bright students from our open scholarship pool, and then again started coaching them, giving academics. And we were realizing that apart from that, we had to give all personality, all these things. This is just 1 year old program I'm talking to you. And very happy to inform you that within 1 year, the transformation that has taken place with those students. Academics, I don't say very much. Yes, they are improving. But their personality, their confidence certainly has improved like anything. And now what we are planning, again, we have 125, we have made it 250 this year. We can make it 1,000, but that does not serve the purpose. How to scale up? How to scale up and then bring everyone there. Someone has talked about, I think, Professor, excellence with inclusion and not exclusion. I think that is what we need here. So we have, and you have talked about some 178 crore rupees, how it will come and it will impact 3.2 million. So we have, like Baroda example, if we take, we have 1,000 crore rupees of CSR fund available in Baroda alone. And we suggest a policy initiative that if 25% of the CSR
is meant purely for the weaker section of our society and that too for education. Baroda itself will have 750 crore rupees. And that will total transformation will take place. So if you need 178 crore rupees, I suppose that's a total amount to you. And this CSR should bring it. And let me also tell you, in Gujarat and especially in Baroda, all corporates are very happy. We are getting a substantial amount of funding from them. So we feel that this could be a policy initiative. We suggest that. And second is, we have limited too much on that, and that is a neighborhood school policy. Can we do that? See, we have so much of segregation. My boys are going in international school, this and that. I talk about this charity, philanthropy, doing all these things. But where are those students are going? They are going into those government schools, their capabilities and facilities are limited.
And it's, thanks for Tom. I think
yeah. So what we feel is, if we have this neighborhood school concept, I think we can go ahead and all in a certain territory, all the students compulsory have to come into that school irrespective of economic background, and we will have, I think the difference will go away, and we will have a society where we can think about all the students getting the best of the education. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing, Sanjay. I like the way you reframed the problem, and you said you are looking at taking the school to the doorsteps. I think innovation starts with reshaping the way you think, and that's a wonderful insight of what innovation can do. And next, Sanjeev, would you like to share about what Sanjeev does excellent work in Ottawa? So they do work in the area of STEM land, so he can provide some insights about what he does.
I think he's very easy to keep it short. I think that's so, and I will keep it short. Unlike the speakers who have spoken so fast, my experience is only about 5 years. And I went to Oregon, yeah, PhD this and all that, but I wanted to actually work on education because I felt that, well, I talk a lot about it and we all feel passionately about it. So, get down and get it done. So I actually just went there with the teacher and then so many things evolved. And like you said, problems. I worked with the teachers there and maybe they were not interested in what I wanted to talk about or how children wanted to learn. Everyone's interested in how well you want to teach. No one's talking about how well children learn. So for me that was interesting. Like how can I create a classroom where children want to learn? And then somehow I encountered all these youth who mostly youth in rural village. I work in a rural village, and so the youth want to migrate to the cities, especially if they have completed their engineering. And there is really no job opportunity for them there. So I guess I did similar to what was given as a rural BPO, but I just did it in high tech. We created software, and now we are going to create real estate here. So I worked with rural youth, and I said, okay, I work with you, but only if you work with schools. Because I'm interested in the school team. I'm very honest about that. And I think those are the best people you can get in the village. So 3 hours a day everyone volunteers in schools and 5 hours a day they work on engineering and electronics. So I think that itself is a little bit of innovation for me. It's not just about bringing jobs. It's about how do I get good teachers who are skilled, who are tech savvy, but who can actually work with children in a way that they are honest that they are also learning. So they are really actually learning on the job. Not just as teachers, but also as engineers. And then the second thing I think is we basically went in and told children we're not going to teach you anymore. We believe nothing can be taught, and I worked in Ottawa and Sri Aurobindo said, in 1905, nothing can be taught. So you can interpret it in different ways. But we said, you have to learn, we can't teach you. When you need help, you ask us. Okay. And so the first few weeks they thought we were just putting a fast and we'll wake up. And then they started saying, but you need to learn on our own. Yeah, sure, we learn. And then we saw so much peer learning, we saw so much individual effort to learn. And then the fun thing started. We started creating projects. We said, okay, you create software projects to show that you have learned something. So if you learn traction, they create videos on how do you add traction, how can I create videos. They are really great visuals. That's what you're talking about. We talked about how to make videos. So we did it through programming. So they actually learn critical skills. So through scratch, they actually make an animation that shows how how you add traction, how does it work, and so on. So I think for us, the innovation has been to tap into creativity. Can you tap into the creative potential of children to learn? Can you help them learn it by actually doing something? With our very young children, I mean, that she mentioned, wastewater treatment plant. Our fourth graders have created a wastewater treatment plant for the kitchen to use it for the little garden that they have created themselves. So I think, like, to take up real life challenges and to actually work on them, and the elder children have created a lot of material you can use. For example, you have access to video in so many schools. What do you put on it, right? And if the content is actually from children, it is much more powerful than when the content is from adults like us. And the third thing for me was, what is the best use of technology? Is the best use of technology just that I watch something? No, the best use of technology is that I interact with technology. And that is the power of technology, that it can let a child learn one-on-one with a computer. But a very simple, I work on math, because children hate math. So I said, okay, we're going to start working on math. If you have to do the practical geometry and children have to learn all those keywords, it's really painful for them. And the teachers, they write whatever they want. And it's not related to what they're doing. But there's a tool called GeoGebra, so they're trying to teach it to draw what they want. And they patiently learn the spelling of perpendicular. They patiently learn the spelling of, I mean, children designed a program, a game that they were doing the first 10 elements. They learned the spelling of beryllium. And I'm wondering, this child comes with here, and he gets beryllium right. Because he's trying to get that thing to get what he's trying to say. So I think that interactivity is amazing. And that is what technology gives us. So I think there are 300,000 computer centers already in this country, not computers. Computer centers already there in this country as of now, as of a few years back. So government invests in infrastructure. What is the best use of the infrastructure? So what I'm looking at is not scaling, I'm looking at what is worth scaling. And how do you train youth to be excellent teachers? And how do you build training centers where people can come and get trained? They can see it. That's not my job. That's the government's job, that's Uttari's job. For me, how do I create a center of excellence where now I have, although it's a rural place, there are privileged kids wanting to come to spend time with them, along with the children who I'm working with from the village. So for me, that's where the mix has to happen. I have to have something of excellence right there where it's available for everyone. And I mean, anyone can come and learn, and it's free. So that's sort of the setup we have. We support ourselves through our consultancy. And I don't know how scalable that model is, but well, we'll see.
Thank you. Thanks for the insights. I have actually been to Finland and thought about it. It's an amazing place. I've seen the kind of energy that children have. They have a lab where children with the facilitators are actually facilitators. There are instructions. You go to them only if you have some work, if you want some help on something. And you have an amazing set of equipment there in robotics, through math, through puzzles. Children can come and use what they want to use. And the energy is amazing. So, wonderful experiment that they're doing. They've presented papers in various research centers in IIMBAA.
Okay. Just one thing. We presented a paper at the Untitled Chapter at a conference. And one of the youth I worked with was approached by someone and said, "You actually go to villages and work." He looked at them and said, "From village." And then the person just reflected and said, I just realized I have a bias that I don't expect anyone from the village to actually come and present at a conference. So I think for me that's success. And we are talking in 3 years.
Thank you. The pressure of being the last speaker and speaking something that has already not been spoken at this platform is immense. But I think I'm very, very thankful and very privileged to be here, because I'm thankful to Rotary for having invited a person from ECD background in this forum. Everybody has spoken about education, the way it is now, the way it needs to be spoken about. So what is it that I bring to the table here? I think it was it was, it was a profound experience to actually have heard such amazing speakers and to listen that people are talking about soft skills, life skills, education as, terming learners and not students in itself is a big thing, and we're all talking about it. So what do? We at Aspiration start really early. We have been talking about primary education, higher education. I'm sitting at IIMBAA from a ECD background in itself is critical. So we start very early. We start early because that's the foundation. That's where it all begins. We know the brain develops at the fastest rate in the first 5 years when the child is growing. And the way that brain develops is because of the environment the child is in. The brain can develop to be a great learning tool and help the child become a lifelong learner, or a child may be just still not really ready for the world to take on the challenges of the world if the child is exposed to adverse circumstances. And more often than not, children are exposed to adverse circumstances in majority of population, at least in India. Aspiration has been using the power of media and numbers for the past about 50 years across the world in educating children using media. We have been in India for the past decade or so, creating content that really enables children to become lifelong learners, because we are also focusing on those very critical skills or executive function skills that help children develop into learners and not just really, confining to letters and numbers. How are children becoming more resilient, more empathetic, and how are children being more happy? That's the most important thing. So that they are ready to take on the challenges of life or higher education. We still know that getting grades in 10th grade and 12th grade still is a big pressure on them. Succeeding in life, earning for livelihood is a big pressure. Some of them are still first generation learners. How do we equip them with skills that are going to help them survive their lives? How are they becoming problem solvers? How are they becoming discoverers, inventors? How are they more empathetic citizens? I think those are very, 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 very essential values to develop, and we start integrating those values to our content very early. Now that we are not focusing on essential core concepts, we have done many projects apart from the television show, which is focused on whole child development. We have done projects which have shown improvement using multimedia technologies in early grade reading. We know that in India, the ASA report shows 91% of children are still not reading grade level. They are not even reading the grade below. We are stuck in grade these now. So what is it that we can do to help children become those problem solvers, become empathetic citizens? They know how to resolve conflicts, and most importantly, they are happy citizens. So we are developing this content, we are disseminating, we are reaching to 8 billion people, 8 billion children across country through various outreach projects, through television, radio, IDRS, mobile platforms. We are creating those contents. In specific, I would like to talk about, we've done an all children reading project in Bihar. The most challenging state, I must tell you, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of teacher capabilities, in terms of enrollment, attendance, every way that state posed problems. The state government was not easily ready to have this program run into state-run government schools, primary government schools. We had to spend years to actually negotiate terms and having the state government take this program, run this program in state primary schools. So we used the power of digital games, print media. We supplemented the core curriculum We provided training. We recognized that the training of trainer models is not going to help. We need to straight away go to the teachers to build their capacity. And we need to actually build capacity through pedagogy. How is it, and most importantly, the education has to become fun for children. The element of fun is always missing in our education system. How do we make it fun? That program ran for about, we created 3 packages. Each package ran for about 12 weeks in a repetition with digital games. We provided training to the teachers, to the supervisors, and that program showed that children had significant improvements in 3 out of 5 indicators in their reading level, and we used EGRA to test that. So there is immense potential and opportunity in this country, and there is immense need for it to start really early in early years, so that we have more of IIM, so that we have more of people like all these speakers who are here. It has to really start early for perhaps as careers or mother's work to become easy, so that with little stimulation, everybody is able to live up to their fullest potential. And thus, our mission and vision remains to help children become smarter, stronger, kinder, wherever they are, to reach wherever they are. And we are reaching using mobile and technology, is really reaching using IDRS platforms, and not just to teach children to build capacities of caregivers because their engagement is necessary, to build capacities of communities, to build capacities of influencers, and build capacities of people who are in the position of bringing about that change. So this is a very important task, and there is an uphill task ahead of us. We are now actually focusing more and more on building executive function skills in children, which is building cognitive flexibility, working memory, and self-regulation skills, which will help them become much enthusiastic learners, to actually impart lessons of child protection through using mass media platform again, and we have been successfully doing that. It's just that there has to be a greater demand of such content.
You run programs in IT.
We run programs in IT.
And that's very well.
Yes, Tina Healthier Happier, Rahul Yoga program where we work with communities in West Bengal in a low-resource community called Chandrabasti, where we had such immensely fun, engaging materials with digital games, and we use community as a platform. We build capacities of communities there, and that program actually showed amazing, heartwarming results. Children are. We did a residual impact study also to see whether it was just that time or whether that impact stayed for a longer period of time. And it was really heartening to see that children were using soapy threads that we actually taught them to take to toilets. They're wearing slippers to toilets, and they're demanding for safer, cleaner toilets in their environment, in their locality. So it was great and heartening.
Thanks, sir. Thanks for sharing. What you said is what I noticed was how they have used the OPEX and the meetups, how Sultan has been using films to essentially bring across a story, through a narrative. The context could be hygiene, could be anything. Where you use the films to inculcate values. Instead of, that's a very interesting way of doing it. And she, when Sultan has something, a lot of synergy before.
Taking notes.
So here's another question that I'm very nasty to come with this. When she mentioned about inculcating values, this is what when Sultan films does. Very interesting. Certain things which it's not like a math, it's not motivative stuff or analytical skills, but you take a newspaper and go page 2, it's very disturbing to see young children committing suicides because of stress of exams, etc. So the question is, how do you get them to believe in themselves? How do they discover their own strengths? How do you build resilience?
how do you, build strengths of courage, persistence, perseverance, empathy, etc. Now, how does one do it? How does one do it in a school environment, for instance?
As you said, stories, the course is one thing. And then there's a lot of role play to all the subjects that we teach. There is also role play in that we have to talk. Then we are an inclusive school. And so we take children with all kinds of differently abled children. And they are in the same class. And they need to help these children. I remember one time we had a child with a heart problem. And the children would get together and we had a set of steps. And by rotation, they used to fight to take this child up to the classroom. So when they are sitting in the same classroom with the differently abled children, they realize their difficulties, their problems, and they are able to empathize. So that's the kind of thing we do. We have counselors in school who are going into the classes and talking to the children. We have parents of children who are differently abled to come into the class and discuss the problem that their child is facing. Because sometimes the hearing impaired children have a difficulty. So we invite the parents to speak to all the children and get them involved with the child.
If I'm not mistaken, we also organize parenting sessions, parenting classes. I think someone mentioned that parents, the problem lies with the parents, not with the children. And and I believe your school also does proactively interact.
But parents also want the best for their children. If you really invite them into the school and explain to them why you need to have this kind of environment, they definitely come and cooperate. So we luckily have had very, very few problems with parents. They are willing to jump in.
If I may interject from here, every news that you get in the newspaper about a school relationship is negative. There is never any positive coverage except for a minor single person, 98%, and that's little. Everything else is negative. And that's because schools don't interact with parents. It's as if you put a child in a cage and 10 standards the child is brought out. And nobody ever talks to parents that this is what they're doing. So that is just hogwash. When we say there are three very involved child, school and parents never talk.
So what we have done, just for communication with children, we have a special app called Wise. It's being made by one of the parents. So on that Wise, every teacher has to post a happy picture and a happy situation that they've had in class every single day. So the parents are aware that their children are enjoying class and nothing negative. That's all.
So I think we were fortunate to have a former director of the United Nations of Leadership, Dr. Monica Sharma, who did these workshops for us, leadership in action workshops, and the youth benefited a lot from it. And then we thought, some of the children don't know how to make choices, and how are they making the choices? Out of peer pressure. So we actually did workshops with them, in which we explore who am I in my being, what is the best quality that I want to be, and that I also have fears. And so it's a choice. As a human being, I actually have choice, whether I want to work from the best that I can be, or whether I want to work from my fear. And the result is going to be different depending on what you choose to be. So I think once children have realized that there is a choice, and we always realizate it. Like, I never ask children why they do their homework, because the answer is always because. And then they are thinking we need a good answer next year. So we just talk about when I'm going to do it. So we basically look at inculcating responsibility of their learning, and it supports to have perhaps sort of role-playing sort of activities, because there are sufficient leadership and training programs. What is very nice is that they work also with teachers, because when I have trained teachers, and government schools have this program where teachers have to be trained. They come for 2 days, they present every minute of it, they take 2 hour lunch break. So no, but when I went, they didn't do that. So, no. But at the end of it, they said, this was so great. The time is up there, we can't do any of this stuff when we go back. I said, what was the point of that? And I realized part of the reason is that teachers are afraid to be change makers because they feel that they're going to be finally asking me one question: did you cover the syllabus? And what is the mark? So if that is what, so for me even this has been great to do the same program with the teachers before we do any teacher training program. And I had this set of government teachers who came and did this program. Said, why are we doing stand? We call it stand. What do I really stand for? Why are we doing stand here? I said, next session you're going to program. And they said, we can't touch a computer. I said, no, that's your fear coming up. Now you just stand. So, you know, the point that if you want to really make a change, everyone says teachers have to do it. Yes, but what are we enabling teachers to be able to go back and change and take that risk? And the directors of schools, and I'm also a principal of the school, to say that, okay, you take a risk and I'm here with you. And this is actually what you're doing. Let's give sports and emphasis, I'm here with you. So when the parent comes back and asks, you and I have to answer.
I think there is a lot of unlearning that is required towards empowerment. If you empower teachers, empower caregivers, empower adults, surrounding kids, that's when the change is going to happen. And there seems to be a lot of unlearning that has to happen, not just learning.
So one last question before we head on to Q&A. One last question. From your experience, have you seen any shifts in mindsets of children of today vis-a-vis your own generation? Shifts in mindsets, value systems, family and personal values, social structures, any thoughts? I have thoughts.
Actually, the children of today are very smart. I don't think I was as aware of them at that age when I was young. Yes? And that's all that they are, that's surrounding them. Yes? And also the school. I also see a change with parents allowing their children the freedom to think of what career they will want to pursue. Not saying only become an engineer or a doctor, but allowing them the freedom. One example is that, not one, there are many actually, that the child has an Air Force pilot as a father and a teacher and a counselor as a mother. And they were quite rigid, I think, in the beginning, but we reached drumming. So Adnay decided that he wanted to go into drumming and music for a career. And I'm sure it was a little traumatic to begin with. But today, he is doing his master in percussion. So that's a shift. There are some children working with the snow leopards. There are some working as NGOs. And I think that's a shift. The parents are allowing them that freedom, and children are taking the risk to go out and try different careers. So I think
this is one part of the school. Is parents who come to us, and when we talk about, they have only one thing in mind, that my children should become a doctor, because their aspiration levels are very different from this level. They come. Now a student getting 45% marks and they want, like, my boy should become an engineer. Now this is where our role comes in. What is happening? They are just nurturing an illogical aspirations, parents. And they say we are investing into it. They will get admission into it in few of the colleges. There won't be any problem. We are not bothered. But on the other hand, similarly, the student also says the same thing. Why? The basic reason behind this is our social concept that if we have materialistic achievement, this is the way of success. So with this in mind, these all these people are coming, and here is our role of counseling. To tell them that we need not go here, because what happens and what we have seen over a period of time. Student getting 45 marks and getting into engineering. Parents have to bring a lot of money for that college. They charge huge. He will not be able to complete that course. It will take 4 to 5, 6 years. And the result will be not be getting the job. So whole thing will get burdened. Parents will be burdened with interest, and this boy will not be there and they will be. So we have the second subset, which is at the bottom of the line. This is just in perspective to get it. We have to change. We have to counsel these.
Sure. Also unempowered. Yeah, it's also unempowered. Sorry.
Practical thing, what we see, right? Given the so-called maid and the others, they take a lot of notes and then put them into higher schools which start very high, and they never bother about government schools. So how to make these things work?
We'll come to the Q&A and quickly see if they have some points to add. So essentially we're talking about mindsets, changes, social structures, family, and personal values.
I'm just going to talk about that last one. I think the first thing for me is suddenly now children realize they can choose. They never, you go to any teacher, you ask why are children make better choices in life. You say, okay, practice makes perfect, and if you all believe, what are the choices they're making in school? And they say none. Even to go to the bathroom, they need to ask, can I go to the bathroom? So I think first thing for me is the children now believe they can make choices. And second is, children believe they can learn, because they always thought they need to be taught. And now they believe they can learn. So, we have worked for a long time, so they can talk about social changes. For me, this is what I see in my classroom.
This is something everybody shared about the children for accessing education. I want to share a little example of children who really do not have access to education in classrooms. We've just done a project on financial empowerment, and everybody was wondering how we are able to do this project with underprivileged communities who do not have a source of income or economically stable, and these children, we actually tried to teach them the difference between needs and wants, choices and planning. That's exactly what we were talking about. Aspiration, how you can save for aspiration, of how the concept of self-belief, perseverance that we have been talking about. And it was amazing that through the course of the intervention, we saw that there were money jars being made at home, and there was a concept of this is for me and this is for my uniform or for my book that I want to buy. And so the point is that children can be empowered to make decisions if they are given the right kind of intervention, right kind of channelization of what and how they should be thinking about. And it was amazing that children from underprivileged societies, from JJ Cosmos, actually were making those money jars called budget jars in their homes to actually make a choice that I will spend this 2 rupees to buy the thing of my choice as against, what will I do with that money? They were able to make that choice. They were able to talk about needs and wants. So it's fine.
Thanks for sharing. Now we'll open it up to Q&A from the audience. Yeah. Yeah, please.
See, most of the time, I do work extensively for schools and colleges. I see maids and those people who cannot afford money, but they still put their children in schools where they teach English. They think that getting their children knowing English is a big thing. So they take heavy loan and they cannot fulfill it. And most of the time, after 5th, 6th, 7th grade, they drop out. Such things are happening. So how do we make the parents understand that, go back to government school, where you stay, and teaching can be made better?
Is that question directed to a specific panelist?
This is the problem we are facing day in and day out about this kind of what you have put. Here we have to counsel them, and the first thing we tell them for this is food. Please do not borrow money. That's number one. You do not, and then when you have a regular, we have a continuous interaction with these parents as well as the students. So when you have a continuous dialogue all the time, throughout the year, they start listening, and when you tell them what is about this English and what is about this money, debt, and make them explain, I think they will get convinced with you. In our personality development classes, when we take for those students who are almost about 7-8 semesters in engineering, and again the English has come, we tell them only one sentence that will tell them confidence in your interview. Sir,
can you ask question in Gujarati or Urdu? And that has made all the difference. That this just one single line with confidence has made all the difference. Why? Because if that's an MNC, they want English, they will figure that out. But if it is not, which is not their case in most of the cases, they start asking questions in Gujarati or Hindi, and these child answer so well. They know all the technical, they know everything. So this kind of belief, this kind of interaction is must for the convinced.
And the second following of, see, when we see most of these places in rural areas, see, there with the government school, another 500 meters, there will be a school run by the panchayat or the local leader. Okay, they will freeze the money, they will put the code, all the dressing style for kindergarten to this, and somehow they want to make the government school shut because less number of children go there, then the classes will be cut. So this is the major problem in most of the government schools where they don't have many children coming, so they cut the classes. Only the school itself will be bulldozed and occupied by.
Sure, just continue.
Yes. Now, I think what he says is true that if parents can afford it, whatever they can afford, in fact, they will want their child to be what they believe is a privileged school. And in their mind, the government school is perhaps almost the worst, except for the other schools that I go to because they are direct children. So that also has a caste equation also has something to play. So if in my school, the majority of children who are from a different background, from a Dalit background, then the parents will think white. Until last year, they were not sending children to our school, even though it was in the locality. So, thinking, okay, I need a privileged background child. So, you have to have spaces of excellence. You want children to start going to government schools have to deliver what they are supposed to do. So, I actually really believe that the stuff we are doing goes to the government school. So, we work with the government school, very progressive principle. You have to get lucky. You have a very progressive principle, it will happen. You don't have a progressive principle, it doesn't happen. So, but that, when that changes, when what the work we are doing scales, I think then we'll have children coming to them. Just like we have now children from all the other castes coming to our school. Because it's they say, okay, now we are delivering something. So what we are coming. Okay, I doesn't matter, that doesn't matter. So now they are able to get rid of this baggage that they have been carrying, that this school is for Dalit children. So, yeah, and just as I said, in the other school now we have kids who are privileged kids also coming in, who would never come otherwise to that school, because we want privilege. We want to feel, no, our child has a privilege with many other times. It's very sad, but it is where we are. We have this whole thing of independence. We are stuck in independence, not interdependence. So, till that thing moves, hopefully the next generation will be
last two questions, we're running short of time, and then it's been a long evening. Yeah, can you use this?
So this panel is named the innovation gateway, right? So we are not talking about the big gorilla that's out there. There is a government, right? Where all our tax money and the Ministry of HRD. So this particular question is anybody who is business with government, right? The overall trend. One big question in time is, should we even aspire to strengthen our government system with the hope that they have a reach, they can one day, today or tomorrow, they will do the job. Or really lobby for all our tax dollars to be given this token, so that the poor fellow can use the tokens to get the best education. The private school has that which grow for that. So do we have hope for government schools at all? Or no, just a question of time. Teachers will learn English, they will teach in English. Today or tomorrow our government schools will be great. Should we even have the hope, or should we just say sooner or later they will die? And the whole thing will get privatized, as it's already happening in our community, right?
Anybody who wants government, will keep hope.
Well, the funny thing is, Audible is technically a government entity. I represent the HRD. So very good. You can do innovative things even within the government. But I would actually, I'm not sure I would put my faith in private schools either. They charge a lot, but I am not sure they deliver results any better than a government school. And in Pondicherry, actually the government schools are not that bad, especially the ones we interact with them and who are open for us to come and work with them. Not all of them are seeing a decline. It's true for many schools. Some of the small schools are shut down actually, but it's not true of. And part of it is to do, unfortunately, with many of the things that the government is giving out. If you stay in this grade, you get a scholarship. If you stay in 10th grade, you get a computer. So there are all these things also. There are a lot of perks available. And maybe that's why, just like the midday meal scheme brought the kids to school now, we are keeping them in government schools by giving them food. But hopefully, the quality will improve. And so, like being part of the HRD, well, we are doing something nice. Can you take it and use it in the other schools you're working with? And yeah, for me, I don't know. I'll give it.
Let's talk about the thousands of schools that you're going to interview. They will also be government schools.
Yeah.
Only government.
Yeah.
So we are, I think you
answer
this question, but
lot of faith in the government schools.
If you look at our Karnataka state, the place called Udupi and other side, I see most of the children go to government schools and top scorers in any field. So as we do run an NGO, we take almost 15 students. Okay? And same thing doesn't happen elsewhere because the teachers are not passionate. And the parents, they don't send their students like kids to government schools. So these are the two main reasons I have found out. And there is one more.
sir, I think Kupi.
Yeah.
So for about 3 years, two youngsters have worked with government schools, schools, and they have made a turnaround. The children who used to go to private schools are now going to government schools.
Sure.
Because of their use of technology and mentoring the teachers.
So what I'm hearing is basically there is something in government schools that's worth pursuing. Is that what you would like to believe?
Absolutely. I think both government and private schools need to exist. So it's not that only one of them is going to exist and we have to only one of them. Everywhere there should be private enterprise also. But we are working only with the government schools because we find there is a greater need there. If I am running a private school, I will pump in money, I will try to get the best teachers because it's business only. Whereas for the government, it's not business. So at times, in a country as big as ours, things do not really go down where they should be going. But as I interact with the university, I find their approach is really proactive. They are wanting to take up ideas, and he said a very nice thing, the HRD minister, which is what exactly our thought process is. They said, "ये सोच आप लोग लाइए." The thinking has to be done at people like us, and scaling up has to be done by them. That's what will happen. My answer would be that if the neighborhood government school is not good, let's go and make that school good. So the first e-learning should be given to that government school because the private school does not even have the e-learning. So for once, the government school will score over a private school. That will attract at least a small percentage of the private school children going there. And why I feel more children should go to the government school is because when I sponsor a child at my own club for private school, the child is going, poor child is going to a private school. I spend 8,000 rupees each year because that's the fees that has to be paid. Whereas if he goes to the government school under the Asha Kiran program, you give us 2,500 rupees and this for lifetime insurance, and you don't have to pay anything more. So if the facility is there, I think children should be going to government schools, and we have to strengthen the government schools as much as we can.
Thank you. You have a word to say.
I don't think that the government school teachers are not passionate. Unfortunately, they are burdened with so many duties, like election duties. The teacher has to leave the class and go. Where is the energy then to come back and teach the children? This, I think, needs to be stopped. I don't know how. And the next query I had, why shouldn't the children learn in the vernacular till 5th standard? I think they will be better learners of English after that. We face this problem. The child, they have an ICSE school, and the child then neither knows Marathi or Hindi, neither does he know English. So I don't know how to combat it, because the parents of the RTE children who come to us want them to learn English from grade 1, alternate, and then they end up learning nothing. So
thanks for sharing. I think thanks to all the panelists for taking time and thanks to the audience too. I have one last question. If you have any queries, let's take it during your. These are already both shot. There's already a red card being shown somewhere. So let's wind up. We can take these conversations over tea. Thank you one and all for having come today on a Saturday, and thank you panelists for having made it to Bangalore, to IIM Bangalore. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
A minute, please.
Thank you very much. It's really been an enlightening.
Ladies and gentlemen, I request to kindly hold on for another couple of minutes. I understand you have a long day. Just a couple of minutes more.
Thanks for coming. Photo. Want to play? Alumni office.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Pramod Mishra, the Secretary of Rotary Bangalore Downtown. While I understand that I stand between you and the high tea being served, but it's a customary that we propose a vote of thanks. So I think it's a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this special and memorable occasion. I, on behalf of Rotarian Raghuvalam, the entire Rotary Downtown fraternity, extend a heartfelt gratitude to all the speakers and panelists for presenting your important work and sharing with us your insightful thoughts today. I wish to express my gratitude to Mr. G. Raghuram, Director, IIM Bangalore, for his support and encouragement. Thank you, sir. I think he's left. My special thanks to District Governor, Rotarian Asha Prashant Kumar, for her encouragement and support. My heartfelt thanks to Governor GSR and our mentor, past Rotary International Director, Rotarian Pandurang Shetty. My heartfelt thanks to Mr. Partha Sarthi, Head Alumni Relations, IIM Bangalore, for all his support and cooperation, and for an extremely well-conducted and moderated panel discussion. He has been quite instrumental ever since we began to work on this event and played a great role in the success of this event. Thank you, Mr. Partha Sarthi. Yeah, coming to that. My sincere thanks to Rotarian Satish Madhavan for moderating the Q&A in the speaker forum this evening. Thank you, Satish. I take this opportunity to extend most sincere thanks to all our participants, distinguished guests, invitees, district officials from Rotary, Rotarians from other clubs, and Janet, my dear downtown family, for joining us this evening and making this evening a memorable one. My special thanks to my colleagues from Rotary Downtown, the conclave chair, Rotarian Ramdas, who is also doubling as MC this evening. Thanks, Ram. Rotarian Bibin Toro, Rotarian Tejaswini, Rotarian Shobha, Usha, Lala, Murli. My thanks to Ms. Sushma, Rohini, and Ankita from Alumni Relations Office for all the support, and Mr. Chandrakant for helping us with the acoustics and all the support in the auditorium today. Yeah, I mentioned, he's Bibin Toro, he's a star. Yeah, he just got clouded today. The event like this, of this nature in class, cannot be put together with an active participation from the sponsors. The sponsors for today's program, the event sponsor has been Audi, and the office associate sponsors, P.N. Rao, Shumaki Travels, and Taxi. Well, I should also mention that while you step out, there's a counter from Audi where you could definitely catch up with them for networking, and also they've got their all-new Q5, which is available for a demo there. You can definitely spend some time. Maybe you can also go for a spin. Am I right, Trevor? They can? All right. So they can do that. An event of this dimension cannot happen overnight. It requires meticulous planning and execution and an eye for details. I cannot thank everyone enough for the involvement they have shown and the willingness they have expressed to take on completion of tasks beyond their comfort zones. Ladies and gentlemen, once again I want to state that we are all most grateful to all our speakers, panelists, and all our guests who have come from different destinations for their support and cooperation. We thank you for being with us this evening. It's been a great pleasure. Thank you very much. And while you step in and step out, there's a high-keeping stuff. Kindly help yourselves. Thank you so much.
Maybe the first limited opportunity to get yourself. सब कुछ कौन कराना वाला है? All well and very done. So, yeah.